let you go. Mamma mia, now I really know why I could never let you go. I've been angry and sad about the things that you do. So I made up my mind to tell you that we're through. But when you go, when you slam the door, I think you know that I won't be away too long. You know I'm not that strong. Just one look and I can hear a bell ring. One more look and I forget everything. Whoa, whoa, mamma mia, here I go again. My, how can I resist ya? Mamma mia, does it show again? My, just how much I missed ya. Yeah, I've been broken hearted, blue since the day we parted. Why did I ever let you go? Mamma mia, even when I say bye-bye, take me now or never. Mamma mia, it's a game we play. Goodbye doesn't mean forever. Yeah, I've been broken hearted, blue since the day we parted. Why did I ever let you go? Mamma mia, now I really know why I could never let you go.
Whoa, crazy. I definitely didn't forget I had a stream until looking at my watch and going, oh, I have 5 minutes until I stream. This won't be a very long one, because I don't have plans, and I kind of was just watching Markiplier play Silent Hill F because my class got canceled today. But I made this for slideshow night, and I think it's going to be really funny and silly, and if anyone's in chat, because I know Atlas and B are both live, so most of my viewing is probably going to them, which I don't mind, they're besties, but I just want to info dump about my silly, because I made it for a school club, and I want to. So let's just hop pretty quickly into this. I will have chat on my phone, and if you have any questions, I will probably stop momentarily between things and extra rambles. Making sure this moves first. Okay, we are in position. My phone is really hating stream today. So for context, I had to originally fit this within less than 10 minutes, or like a max of 10 minutes. I try to put it in less than 10 minutes. Why does my chat just keep copying that? Oh no. My phone is not enjoying stream time today. It's fine. We will survive. But let's get into it. A Selfless Act Family Christmas. Oh wait, you know what Selfless Acts the book series is? That's okay. I wrote the book. Let's start with the main cast. I'll be sharing in order a first art piece in the style I did for these character headshots to last. So it's kind of in chronological order. I'll tell you if there's something out of chronological order. And character names will be left to right. So first name will be left character, second is right. It will be soul or then soul descendant. I will get into that more with our first cast. This is Daffodil and Jenna. This with the blue eyes is Daffodil, and the brown eyes is Jenna. So essentially, The way this art style works, Daffodil died, and her soul is in Jenna. It descended. So Jenna is in soul her descendant, but in action they are not related at all. And no, I can't remove the one flame but two aren't the same line. I was in ninth grade when I drew this first one. It is old and it is not able to be fixed because I merged all the layers down. We will all suffer together as a family in this one. Jenna and Daffodil were the first two I ever created. Actually, Daffodil was. Jenna came a while later. Jenna was the initial character based off of me. The blue streaks were because I wanted to have blue streaks in my hair. This is also Daffodil. It's a sketch of a larger piece with many of my characters. I might show the piece at some point. We might work on it on stream to actually get me to work on it. But this is the sketch of her. This is Daffodil from her coronation ball. I literally just need to color this. It's done otherwise. But I love the design of her braid. And the dress is like very flamey compared to like the other dresses. She wears very casual, more simplistic dresses, but with this, it's her coronation ball. She wore whatever she wanted, and I really like that. And yes, this is a choker. Most of her chokers are connected to capes. Like this one is part of her cape, but this one is just a really pretty choker. This is also Daffodil from when I made a trading card set. This is more of if she took her cape off, which insinuates that a cape connects to the back of her necklace. It's a merge of this dress and the coronation ball. It's really fun. She was 17 when I did this, and it says Daffodil, the crown princess, and then here's her little symbol. I made 5 of these trading cards. You'll see the rest of them later. I made them my senior year of high school for my graphic design final project. She has little freckles, and this was the first time I drew more than just this kind of same bust height. So I drew most of her, and I really, really like the way she came out. And here's the back of the card. You can kind of see the rest of the characters. But we will get more into this later. My favorite part, I will say, is these eyes were not something I wanted to add. But my graphic design and digital art teacher looked at it and said, you need something in the back, like a sigil or something. So I drew this, and I showed it to her, and she goes, yeah, I really like that. And I've really loved the eyes of these because I love using eye symbolism. And with the flames, it's just so cool. I love the eye symbolism in it. These were 2 pieces of art I received as a birthday present when I was, I think, 19. Both have Daffodil in them. This is Ruby. We will get more into Ruby later. But I really enjoyed the way it looks. These were both birthday presents, and both from 2 different friends who both decided to draw Daffodil. I think it was really silly. If you can't tell, I like Daffodil. She is my baby in character form. This is Aaliyah and Evening Star. Once again, it's the soul into soul descendant. These 2 have you'll see some characters, like Jenna and Daffodil, they are very similar. Aaliyah and Evening Star are the same. You can also tell that this is still that 9th grade art style with very pointy chins. But there is starting to become more difference in the characters, and you'll see that become more and more. And I also got really into doing facial markings, which is so funny that B gave Maisie a facial marking, because I was like, I used to give all my characters facial markings. Looks directly Daffodil's little crystals did not carry into any of my other art for her. I'm just realizing that. But yeah. So this is the beginning of facial markings. This crown. I was in 9th grade. I was 15. This is One Soul, Two People. If you can't tell, I did not yet get the creative flow of what these were going to be. I don't have character for art of a lot of the other characters, but more than this initial headshot. This is Alania and Maddie. You can kind of see the little Alania. My idea for that one is when they were at war, they had to have their names carved or sewn or otherwise marked on their, like, any of their weapons. So, like, her sword and her sword sheath had her name on it, so that way when they were all in the battle, they could just grab it. And that way if they grabbed the wrong sword, they could return it. Her eye, this is a really big difference between the 2, is her eye is a cat pupil, and Maddie's outfit is much more chill. I remember drawing these. It took me forever. I would never do it again. I was in 10th grade by the time I drew her. I had some of these have really big gaps. Some of these have like no gap between art time. Lith, Anne, and Roxy. My favorite fun fact is they're the only two that have two different backings. And if you guys can't tell, Lith Anne is very nature themed, but Roxy lives in a city, and that's kind of what I wanted to show is Lith Anne was part of forest, and Roxy lived in a big city. And so Roxy's got that very curly hair. They have very similar eyes, but their hair and their experiences are very different, and they're so fun. One hope, two views. They both have hope for the world, but they both view the world very differently. You can tell this is before I learned to not do things the same, so much of my line art got covered because I just bucket fill everything. This is, I'm getting red bumps in my arm again, that's great. This is Rose and Lila. You might notice, Rose has a very similar cape and shirt to Daffodil. That is intentional, you'll see in a minute. She's also got little red streaks in her hair. Her hair is meant to be more of a strawberry blonde. It's really hard to mimic during art, and I was a lot younger. Lila, I think, is just pretty. They don't actually have any facial markings. But Rose is Daffodil's triplet, and they forgot to be on a trading card. I realize now this is more like a tulip, but it was my attempt at a rose. She's also 17, and you might notice Daffodil's skirt is big and flowy. Rose is the royal handler, and her skirt is very thin. She looks very plain, like she doesn't get as much to show. Her hair is pulled back, her headpiece is very boring. She has basically been made the handler most of her life and is very sheltered and refrained, and I like that I added details to her hair, which is really fun. She's also 17 at the time. Just for a reminder, this is the trading card. You'll also notice Lily is more boring, but she has different styles. You'll see what that character is more about in a minute. But I really like that Daffodil is the crown princess, Rose was the royal handler. You'll meet the other three. Just a reminder, the really cool item drill. This is Mayara, and this is Sky. I wish I had gone through and finished all the lines I want to do for Mayara's wings. If I ever redraw Mayara, I will do her wings very differently, and I will also fix her crop top, because it does not look like that should be a functional shirt. Mayara, look at Sky has the return of eye symbols, facial symbols, and you can kind of see me developing what you might recognize as the shading and the type of art I do for like Melora and my other characters. And you're starting to see more of the depth. You can kind of see it here with like the shadowing under the chin. And you can also see it in the eyes here where I do like different eye details and like the hair isn't even. I get more into that as I get on in this. You'll see some of them get really detailed later, but I really loved it. This is Emerald, and this is Sora. One villain, two lives. Oh, I forgot to say one sky, two flyers. One goal, two to achieve it. I really like Roses. Roses, one beginning, two words. Roses, I think, was one that meant a lot to me as one goal, two to achieve it. Just because Rose is meant to be handling Daffodil, and Lila kind of tries to take a different approach on that, and it's so pretty. I can't wait. One day I'll share the story. Emerald and Sora, they are big on the facial markings. Emerald is a really big character. She was designed before who you'll meet later as her bio younger sister, I actually mentioned in a little bit, but Sora also meant a lot with the different designs. They both have, it's one villain, two lives. If you can't tell, they have a bit of a villain arc. I go into that in a minute. In a crazy turn of events, I actually draw Sora more than Emerald, making her the first soul descendant more favored, although I guess it's a piece for both of them, what you're about to see. Do you remember Enemy? Like, tell you were the greatest. I made that. I love this art of Sora. It is one of my favorites ever did, but it's tell you you're the greatest, and like the crowd, and she's standing in front of a crowd. They all love her. But once you turn, she's turning around, she's radiating green, meant to be that Sora is Emerald. They hate us, and they hate her because of Emerald. Oh, the misery, and it's like math and history, everybody wants to be, and this would be Emerald's time, and what Emerald would have seen when she looked in the mirror behind her. My enemy, and it's once again them, and Sora is such an angry child. I love her. Spare the sympathy. She's braiding her hair So she's changed. So if you notice in all these, her hair is down, but she braids her hair. Everybody wants to be in that's Emerald. Sora look in the mirror, and this time she just sees Emerald, and it's her enemy. And yes, I did actually trace my own art for that. They had a bit of a villain arc, and Sora is actually the main villain of the first part of the series. But as I've mentioned Ruby before, she is Emerald's biological little sister. This is Clover, and this is Scarlet. One family, two girls. Scarlet is labeled as Clover, if you see, and she was not getting into much of the story. It is revealed quite quickly that Scarlet was kidnapped when she was 3. And yeah. So that's what this is for. She was kidnapped when she was 3, and she's been for a situation. Clover is Daffodil's eldest daughter, and Scarlet was Jenna's sister. So Daffodil and Jenna are one soul, and Clover and Scarlet are one soul. Daffodil's daughter reincarnated into Jenna's sister. There's my favorite little fun fact is that Clover and Daffodil always end up together. Whether it's mother-daughter, sisters, cousins, best friends, they always end up joined at the hip. They are a very close family, and they very much care about each other. And it is so meaningful to me because I love those two. Very much. They mean a whole lot to me. So this is Joan and Will. Joan is Daffodil's husband and Clover's dad. You'll actually see it a lot there. I worked really hard to kind of get her hair to be a mix of theirs, and she has more his eyes than Daffodil's, because Daffodil had blue eyes. Just like Scarlet has Jenna's eyes, or the same eyes as Jenna, sort of. And this is Will. One love, two lives. If you can't tell, the love remains between them in both lives. They are also sillies that mean a lot to me. Storyline wise, they are just very important to who I've followed them through on. One sec. My phone is very glitchy, so I'm just checking in on chat occasionally. But these two mean a lot. I also did a lot of difference with their background, and this is when you can start to see I'm using less of that tool that kind of covered my line art. Not perfect yet, but this is also where you start to really see, like, between here and here, you really start to see the different shading in the eyes, and I'm starting to really get comfortable in my art style with this. This is Mikaela and Crystal, one strength, two lifters. They are related as sisters to Myra and Sky. So, Mikaela is Myra's sister, and Sky is Crystal's sister. They have a direct connection. And I really appreciate, like, just the characters and the way they connect with each other. And they're the only two pairs of sisters that are still sisters right now. This is Tarla, and this is Storm. And this is the first one. We're about halfway through. I got my art stylus. So you don't really see it here, but you can kind of tell in the shading. The shading is much more, like, simple. This was when I first started going from finger drawing everything with my fingers on an iPad. Actually, these are less so. These were done later. But this was not. So, like, the first time, and the second official time, because you see here I stopped doing the thing that hides my line art. Second official time I've done my coloring differently. So this was a big change in my art style for me. And you see that especially reflected in Aqua and Coral. Aqua and Coral. You see a lot of more designs in their clothes, and the lines are a lot more even. You also see when I start blending out my freckles more, and you see more, their eyes aren't done very deeply, but you see more of the hair. And I love that's one wave two surfers. She looks very, if you can't tell, I have very specific designs for most of my royal family. The only one who really breaks the royal family is Clover. She still has that kind of formal dress. This would be a dress, to wear. Dress or like a skirt with shorts underneath, because she's part of the Water Kingdom. But then Coral, I would change their eyes. In retrospect, their eyes are very far apart. It makes them very, very froggy almost, but I kind of like the way it looks for them. Coral is a surfer, or at least a swimmer, so she's got a swimsuit top on, and I really like that for her. This is Lily, and Murney, and I fully, I don't want to tell you how long that fringe took. That fringe took way too freaking long. My arm is breaking out. I love that. That fringe took very long, but you can also see I'm starting to get better at, like, my different designs. So I think all of these flowers were the same flower, and I would just copy and paste the flower around. But it would basically be the flowers would keep growing in intensity, and by the end there'd be only flowers overlapping each other and no blue space, so that's what I like. But Lily, if you notice, is also one of the more free ones. She's like Clover's version of freedom in the royal family, because each kingdom has different royal traditions, but they all have kind of like the same design. So like this kind of off the shoulder with a collar is very royal. She just has the off the shoulder. Lily has that, but she has that strap that Clover has, but she's also redesigned it, and I really care deeply about that for her. Is she is very bright and colorful, and I really hate her hair the way I did it. I would redo her hair now. But that is because Lily was the lost princess. So Lily was not raised with the royal family for as long as her sisters were, and she was not raised under the royal family's guard. You can kind of see here the big change in just like a couple gears at most. But you see like the way her dress does not directly fit the royal expectations, but still does. For triplets, so she doesn't seem out of place, but she's different. And you can also kind of see when you compare them, like, to each other, she is allowed to stand out more than Rose is. And I think it means a lot. If you look, Daffodil stands out. He stands out. Rose, like, kind of does, but it's still not as direct. But Lily has her own style, and her sleeves are longer. They're more directly connected to the shirt. She's got the undershirt. She's smiling with her mouth open. She's not hiding herself. I care so much about the mannerisms of these little characters. This is Kolna and Devon. Their piece wasn't finished upon making this. They still need a background. Kolna is the world's straightest gay-looking man. He's got eyeliner. He's got, he was my first attempt at doing eyeshadow. He's got some really cool markings and shading. He's got some really cool outfit. I love Kolna. Devon also has a really cool outfit. I love the idea of this being, like, structured. But these characters are really cool to me. Devon, I think, has the coolest Selfless act. I can't give much away, but each character is, like, a Selfless act if they're part of the Soul Descendants, or some of them do at least, and I really like Devon's. But Devon kind of marks the change of, like, where things start to really change. Oh, but I forgot. We're doing a Christmas party. Totally, guys. So we gotta get the rest of the cast before we can do the Christmas party. These guys don't have soul descendants. They survived. What? I can't tell you. I don't want to spoil my book series. This is Ruby Brooks. She is Emerald's biological little sister, and she's adopted by Daffodil. This is Ruby in, like, current day, or when I was in high school. She's got really high fishnets and a really curved in shirt, and she's spent a lot of her life like this. But when she was 11, she was the adopted princess, and she is the different one in design. In her outfit, she's very different from her sisters because she is not considered part of the royal family officially. She is just kind of a princess in title and not in act. They would not allow her to do anything noble blood. And she is also on the trading card twice, as both her glove, which we do find on this, is more like an elbow thing, does not actually cover her hand, but she is crying over this picture, which means she is the one holding the Together Again picture, which you have not ever been able to figure out. The reason it's Together Again is because Lily has got back. I really care deeply about Ruby. She was also in this birthday piece from when she was with her big sister, and I really love that for them. Ruby was one of the last characters I added. I added her in about 8th grade. But she fundamentally changed how the story flowed, as it became much more hearted around the relationships of the characters and less hearted in the arc. Initially, the story was very focused on how the story flowed. And when I made Ruby, She connected the villain. She connected Emerald to the cast, if you can't tell by adoption. She connected so many different pieces I didn't realize I needed connected until the next time I tried to write it. And I realized I had to start over because Ruby changed the base of the story. And she herself is not a huge character. We don't really meet her for quite a while. But her existence is fundamental to how it changed things. And I desperately love her for that. I have more art of her somewhere. I drew her a lot. But with that, we are on the final stretch. This is Luke. He is the older brother of Daffodil, Rose, Lily, and Ruby, and he's got a silly little name tag. For these guys, they're all in modern day outfits, so he's got a name tag, and he has a lot of facial markings. If you don't notice, though, this little crystal is just like Daffodil's, and he has this marking everywhere, and that is because he was the royal advisor, and that was the royal advisor. If you notice, he's 22. 5 years older than his sisters, which makes him the firstborn, which should not mean Daffodil is the crown princess. He is the most blendy-in man on the face of the earth. He is quite literally just matching her color scheme. He matches her color scheme, which I think is so silly because here he's not. Here he has definitely branched into his own colors, but here he is matching her color scheme and the royal advisor sigil. He didn't get to have his moment to shine, and I care deeply about him getting his moment to shine. And then here is the reunion photograph. This was initially how I drew each character, and then I took each character out of their layer and put them on here. I took each character from here and put them on their own layer, and then I put them back on here at the end. This was the heart of the entire trading card set I made, was the idea of the back of the card. The cards are all this photo broken up, and then she is individually holding the card at the end. Ruby, you'll also notice one fun fact, is Ruby and Luke both have a little star. And that is also the only two characters of this trading card set that are on this portion of it. And then here are the last two. The two stragglers, the twins, they are from a different portion. You'll notice James has a little emerald on his shirt, and that is not because of Emerald the character. It's because Emerald and Ruby ruled something called the Emerald Meadows, or had access to it. I shouldn't say ruled it. So she was considered an Emerald Princess. And he keeps that on him, as well as a flower, at all times. And this is his twin sister, Destiny Rose. They are the crown royals of a different kingdom I won't get into. That's something you'll have to do and learn about when I post the book eventually. Publish the book eventually. But James and Destiny Rose mean a lot to me. And they are kind of the stragglers, because I want Destiny Rose to look very specific. She is a very beautiful character. She is considered very gorgeous. I just want her to look her part. Yes, neither of them have crowns, because despite being royalty, they aren't treated like adults. Which sucks, because they are. So we're done. We can get to the party, right? I'm almost out of time. Well, I think this was enough. That is 47 pages. But yeah. I deeply care about these characters, and I think that's why I wanted to just do a silly little stream with them today. I'm not going to be live much longer. We're going to go probably raid my friends. Or I might just end stream. It's not the craziest stream in the world or the longest, but hey, if you're ever interested, if you're my friend, I can give you some rights to read it, but eventually this will be out. The first book is Selfless Acts of Courage. Eventually it will be out in the world, and I hope you have interest in it, because there's so much more to these characters. You might see me occasionally draw these characters in the future, because they're definitely back on my mind.